Good morning. Hello, hello. Hello, Miss Ariel. How are you
Hi.
doing today?
Okay. Feel a little bit off. I ate something that didn't agree with me. So, yeah.
That's no
Yeah. Other than that, I'm great.
fun. Other than feeling really ill, you're totally
Well, our microbiome affects our cognition and our neurotransmitters, so that's why it's a little bit off.
Oh yeah, totally. Hey Rach. Yeah. Absolutely it does. Yeah. Cool. So how's your last week been, babe?
Good, although I realized I didn't do the homework. Friday night, I went, so there's an individual that was the boyfriend of a client I had who passed away. And I found out she passed away by him commenting on a post.
Whoa.
Yeah. And I just thought she hadn't responded to me in like a month, former client. And I knew she had breast cancer, but I didn't know that she was battling, that she passed in her sleep. And this individual has been battling wanting to live. So I just felt like I have a feeling I need to be in his life and help him for some reason. So we went out shooting, and it was really good. It was getting him out, and then, but then I leave the range and my reception comes and I get a text message from my realty. The owner's selling the property, and I've been here for 7 years. Yeah. And we have a really good relationship, but ever since then, I've just been like, calling my friend who's a real estate agent, and I'm like, okay, what do we need to do? We need to do the XYZ. I have to talk to the lender, I have to do the mortgage, So they gave me the opportunity to potentially buy it.
Wow.
But because I work for myself, nothing is under $300,000 in Santa Clarita right now, by the way.
Yes,
even condos.
No,
even condos
are $350. Yes.
So hey guys. So I have been trying to figure out how to show proof of employment because I went from a W-2 to a 1099 middle of last year, and I haven't filed my taxes yet because of a very long story. Sure. So that is something I've been going back and forth with on top of work, and so
sure. There's some conflict there, is what I'm hearing. A little bit of mind scrambling. Obviously, this was.
It'll work. I already know. I know I'm meant to stay here. It's just getting all the logistics and getting the paperwork and getting.
How do you know you're meant to stay here? What if you're supposed to be upgraded? Why have you made a decision already?
Because I feel it.
Okay, fair.
Because I was looking at other things, and I was like, there's a place in Fraser Park for like $275. Like, it's a full house that was redone. I was looking at other things, and it's just like this voice in my head's like, nope, you're meant to stay here. It's gonna work out. I was like, okay. All right.
Excellent. Perfect. So hopefully that voice will come back and give you guidance about where to find your taxes and all kinds of things like that. Now, as far as your mortgage professional, you're working with someone who knows how to navigate like people who are self-employed.
Yeah, he's going to call me at 12:30 today. He's going to look at the different options we have for like a bank loan versus I'd like to do CalFA. CalFA would be great, but we have to see if I qualify. So
yeah. Absolutely. If you need a person, my person is fantastic and works a lot with single people, single income, like single parents, things like that. So awesome. Sounds like you're dialed in. But if you need some assistance, let me know. Okay, so what I'm picking up is that it's put you into survival instead of surrender.
I had my first anxiety attack on Monday that I've had in like to that magnitude, probably in like 6 months, honestly. Wow. I was just like, oh, I remember this. This sucks.
Yeah,
because anxiety is part of the human condition, but as you well know, it's like when it's chronic, that's when it's a real issue. So And I cognitively knew what everything was going on, but I was just like, so yeah.
Okay, so tell me about some of the narratives that come up when you go into survival, because when you go into survival, you become very hard edged, which means that you're not open to receiving
Yep.
Different information, different opportunities. Like there's like a decision that's been made that you're unwilling to budge from. And I'm not saying your house. I'm saying like there's a narrow focus right now, and I want to relax that into opening up to receiving. Um, and I can feel where it's coming from. It's coming from having to take care of yourself for fucking since you were 5 years old, right? So survival, you're really good at surviving. Like you're really, really like that's where your neurons stop firing. That's where you like you know exactly where you are when you're in survival, right?
Yep.
It's when you are it's when there's the potential for thriving that things start to feel uncomfortable. And as you're going into this uptick, it's very, very interesting because I think that you have a really beautiful opportunity to create a brand new association with survival mechanism.
Well, I agree. And I know why I was like, why God is it that this freaks me out so much? Because I'm at the point in my life where like you can do anything and I do not give a fuck. Like it will not deter me. It will not mess with me cognitively. But
Yeah.
there is one thing that is sacred to me and that I cannot have messed with. And when it is, it scares the living shit out of me. And that is this. When my home and my place of rest is threatened.
Yeah.
And I know why that is. I know exactly why that is.
Tell me more about that.
Because when my parents got separated,
Feel it.
my mom didn't pay the rent from like she paid it late 1 month, and the place that we were at, like they were under the rules like if you paid a couple days late they could kick you out even if you lived there for 10 years.
Wow. Yeah.
So she did it because they hadn't repaired certain things as kind of like, you haven't done XYZ, da da da.
Sure.
But guess what? They're like, okay, we're going to evict you. And my mother was living off of Social Security. She was using all the money from my dad. That was how she paid rent. And my mom was in the middle of this, like going back to her youth and like getting back. She was a professional dancer. And so she started going to different areas and dancing and making a little bit of money, but it was more so just like trying to recover her old identity.
Yeah.
And I was in the middle of recovering from anorexia.
Wow.
My sister was going to school and she struggled in school very much when she was younger. I was working part-time at 24 Hour Fitness, and I was going to school full-time.
Wow.
And my mother started disappearing for weekends, and then she flew to New York for a couple weeks in the middle of the eviction, and I didn't know if they were going to come to the door, the sheriffs, and kick us out. And the entire time I was working, trying to help my sister study, not fall back into starving myself again, and go to school and find a place to live and pack.
Right.
I was like 17.
Oh my gosh.
And just that fear of apprehension of not knowing if we were going to get kicked out the next day.
Yeah.
And I found us a new place.
Wow.
Despite everything, I had to help pay half of the rent because my mother couldn't afford the rest on the higher place we went to. And it all panned out, but those 3 months, and that's kind of like the fear and anxiety that arises.
Absolutely what you're reliving right now. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's so fucking intense. What's intense about it too, Ariel, is that it got trapped in your nervous system and never actually got
never got processed. Yeah. And I
Yeah.
didn't know what it was until this hit. And it's all gonna be okay, but I have to process it because this is gonna
Yeah, but
continue to be
honey, you know it's going to be okay with the 5% of your brain that controls your conscious mind. The other 95% is that 17-year-old girl waiting for the sheriffs to knock on the door, right? That's a large fucking percent of your brain that's like waiting for the shoe to drop. And 3 months is a really long time for a 17-year-old to shoulder that burden. Um, and what I'm hearing, in that is just an abdication of responsibility on behalf of your mother. She's like, you'll figure it out. I'm going to go do my thing, which
it was
is,
always like, I'll let God, God's got it, God's got it. But it was just like, okay. And I think that kind of pushed me away from him for a little bit
of
too,
course
because
it did. Oh my God.
it's not his fault. But
No, because it's like that joke. I mean, I don't know if you've heard that joke, but it's like that joke that, there's the flood and the person's waiting in their house and they're like, God will save me. And the neighbor comes over and knocks on the door and says, hey, get in our car. Like the flood's coming. And the guy goes, no, God's got me. And then the water's up to the first floor and the guy's on the second floor. And then a rowboat comes by and is like, hey, hop in our boat. And the guy's like, no, God's got me, God's got me. And then finally, like, he's on the roof because the water's all the way up to the roof. And a helicopter comes by and is like, hey, we'll come and get you. And he's like, no, God's got me. And then finally he drowns and he goes to heaven and he's like, what the fuck, God? And God's like, I sent you 3 opportunities to save me. I don't know what else you want from me. And so when we don't take responsibility for our portion of the action, that's exactly what we're doing. We are being that guy who's like, oh, but will you just pick me up and float me out of here? Like, will you just rescue me magically and dissolve all of my bills and my debt and then send, someone with $100,000 in cash to be dropped at the front door. And I don't have to do anything for it. I don't have to do anything. I can just sit here and you'll catch me from that. That's not the fucking way that it works. And you know that. But the problem is when we're raised by people like that, it pendulums over to the other side, which is I'm the only one who's got shit, right? Because you had that message of no, God's got me. And then you were the one, right? God did have your mother, but he had your mother through you. Like you were the one. Does that make sense? Yeah. So now that your young mind received that message that if anything's going to happen, I'm the one who has to make it happen. So even though cerebrally, and a few weeks ago you connected and you felt held, cerebrally, this moment in time is still frozen in your nervous system. So, seems like God does have you, and the way that he has you is time to let this shit go. Time to surrender all of way. Time to trust. And you're already halfway there. Cerebrally, you're there. Cerebrally, you already said, it's going to work out.
Knowing what it was, knowing that it was that fear.
Yes.
Was that, I wasn't able to connect to that before. I didn't know. I always get anxiety whenever I had to pay rent or rent was close, and now it's not an issue having that hasn't been an issue in a while, but it's always like, I was like, why does that bother me so much? I know I don't like things being messed with, like right. That's scary, but why is it? And then just the other day, it was like, that's exactly what it was. Yeah. Because before then, I'd never had my home jeopardized. I was a kid, my parents took care of everything, but not anymore.
Yeah. So intense. And then, on top of that, you're still trying to process the passing of your client that you just found out. And that all happened like within the same short period of time. It's really, really, really intense. Yeah. So I'm
going to do my homework. I'm sorry.
I think you'll be okay. This feels like it was a homework assignment that was coming beyond our knowledge that this is what's coming for you to deal with. So yeah, no, I mean, you have that homework now. So just do it when, when you get back into your flow, because right now everything is like "Brr, brr, 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 brr." And so when you get back into your flow, that will be the time that you can go out and do and go and find the rest of those clients. In case you didn't see my post, Ariel did end up magnetizing in one of her 4 clients that we were attracting in last week, which is amazing. Same day, by the way. So huge congrats to you. Fantastic. But you didn't even have a chance to really like sink into that until, all of this stuff started to happen. So yeah. Okay, good. Beautiful. That's exactly what we needed. And do we need any more information? Yes, we need some more information. Okay, how would you rather feel? How would you rather feel with your home, with your living situation, with paying your rent, with your mortgage, when you buy a home? How would you rather feel?
Like there's
Instead of like nervous, anxious.
yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I go through highs and lows. Like yesterday was like, oh, it's all going to work out. And then for some reason today, I mean, exhaustion always lowers our cognitive ability to deal with anything. So, yeah, I would like to feel excited because it's going to happen. Like I can breathe. I feel like there's a little bit of a weight on my chest right now and my shoulders and my back.
Yeah. She can breathe.
It's an exciting thing logically, but it's just all the different things going into it. And I know I'll make it work, but I don't, I just want to feel stress-free and not exhausted.
Yeah. What if you're not the one who has to make it work? What if you can just turn that over to God and God actually can make it work? He just tells you which way to go. What if he gives you the indication and you're the one who does the action? What about that?
That's what I've been trying to do.
Got it. Okay.
But my brain keeps trying to control situations. It always makes
yeah.
It tries to make it always, and I mean, I've always had a plan A, B, C, D instead of just an A.
Yeah. Yes, there it is. Okay. So you are the source. You are the source of your income. You are the source of not even necessarily, okay. You're the one who has to, okay, so the message that I'm receiving is you are the one who has to manage and control the situation. Otherwise, no one will do it. That's what I'm hearing. Is that what feels accurate?
Yeah.
I have to manage the situation. Otherwise, no one will.
To an extent. I asked my friend Max to help, and he's helping out a lot. And he was like, here, just give the other realtor, my phone number, like stop the back and forth. And I was just like, you are an amazing human being. We've been friends since freshman year. I trained him for a few years, and he's doing this just to help me out. So, but having him in my corner helps a lot. Because I don't know what the fuck's going on. I'm just like, what's that? What's this? What's that? I trust him. But yeah, I'm still just trying to, control to an extent, but I am releasing all I can to him.
Well, and that's beautiful, right? Asking for help and letting other people help us. That's part of being human. That's part of recognizing that we live and exist within a larger community, that we don't live in a void, that we don't live on an island, that we actually do have people around us. That sounds like historically it's been really, really challenging for you to do anyway, like reach out, ask for help. So that's so beautiful. And also, he doesn't have to be the source of control either. Like your whole future doesn't have to lie in his hands or in your hands. Does that make sense? But it's like in this moment, there's a distinct lack of trust in God, and that makes fully like sense because you're currently reliving the trauma that you experienced when you were 17 and you were feel it. Yes.
No, he
Yeah.
just asked me, why don't you trust me, my child?
Mm-hmm. Tell him. Why don't you? Tell him. And how does he respond?
Because of everything with mom. I mean, there's more than that.
Yeah, because of everything, right? Yeah. Okay, go ahead and close your eyes and keep them closed. Okay. I want you to imagine, I'm going to count you from 5 down to 0, and at 0, you're going to find yourself in a room. It can be a room of any kind, but it's going to be comforting, comfortable. It's a comfortable place for you to be. Starting at 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 0. Let me know by nodding your head when you're there. Good. Beautiful. Okay, I want to bring in the 17-year-old version of you. So it's you, the adult, and the 17-year-old version of you. And notice how she is. She's probably really fucking freaking out. She's really scared. She's probably shaking. She's probably lost in her thoughts, in her anxiety. She's probably looped in that anxiety pattern, right? Okay. Ask her what she wants to say. Ask her what needs to be heard. What does she want to do? If she needs to rage, let her rage. This is a safe place. And you're just going to hold space for her. If she needs to bawl her eyes out, if she needs to yell at somebody, you let her do that. If she needs to wail and cry for help, you let her do that. If she needs to tantrum about how fucking unfair this is, and this is not her fucking job, you let her do that. Good. And you just listen. Yes, feel it, feel it, feel it, feel it, feel it, feel it, feel it. And just listen. Just listen to her. You're not going to try to make her okay. This is not the time to rush her to gratitude. This is not the time to hurry to get to the edges of the emotion. She just needs to be witnessed. She needs to be heard. She's so scared. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. You're doing so great. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. And you just let her keep going until she runs out of steam, until she's got nothing left to say, nothing left to do, nothing left to express. You just let her keep going. Yes. Yes. So beautiful. You're doing so great. That's it. That's it. And when she runs out of steam and maybe collapses or maybe curls into a ball in the middle of the floor, or maybe comes over to you and just wants to sit and be held by you, you let me know by nodding your head. And until then, you let her fully express herself. There's no danger here. She gets to be witnessed in all of her pain. Yes, keep feeling it. Keep feeling it. It already exists within you. It's been frozen in your nervous system for so long. You just deserve to release it. She deserves to go back to being a teenager. Yes. 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 Yep. Yep. Breathe it out, breathe it out, breathe it out, breathe it out, breathe it out. That's the responsibility. That's the financial responsibility that she had to carry at way too young. You let her let that go. Imagine a liquid light that melts that tension, that melts. Woo! There it goes. Good job. There it goes. Just let it go. Let it go. Let it go. You don't need it. She doesn't need it. Nobody needs it. You just let that go. You're doing so great. Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, now bring some fire to your throat, because what's getting caught in your throat is all the times she cried and cried for help and nobody heard her. All of the time she cried and cried and cried and just asked for help and begged and pleaded for this to be over, and nobody heard her. And she just had to keep pushing through anyway. Let's let that melt. Let's let that go. Let's release that. Yes. 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 Breathe it out like you're a dragon with fire. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Let it melt. Let it dissolve. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. Yep. 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 That's more of the financial burden. Let's bring that liquid heat, bring that liquid light back to your shoulder. Release it, release it, release it. Let it melt and be breathed up and out. Melting, there it goes. Woo! Yes, melting and be breathed up and out. So courageous, yes. And when that feels complete for your 17-year-old, you let me know by nodding your head, okay? Good. That feels complete? Not quite. Okay. A little bit more. Now it feels like she needs to be held. Go put your arms around her and let her just sob to you. Let her just cry to you. Let her tell you how hard it was. Let her tell you how unfair it was. She had no one to support her emotionally, physically, financially, that she had to carry the whole family on her tiny little shoulders. And you just let her cry to you about how hard that was. So good. Beautiful. And now you let her find a place in the room where she can just relax, where she can do what she's wanted to do for so long, where she can just, you can retire her from carrying the responsibility of everybody. And you can just maybe put her in a hammock, put her in a little incubator to recover. Maybe she just wants to sit and read a book. Maybe she just wants to lie down and take a nap. You put her somewhere safe in the room. And just let her be. And when that feels done, nod your head for me. Good. And then when you're ready, let's call God into this space with you. When he's here, nod your head. Okay. Tell him everything that you have had to say from this moment, from that time, and from other stuff. Just tell him. You don't have to tell him out loud. Just tell him openly. The anger, the abandonment that you felt, the despair that felt like he just wasn't around, that he just left, that he went to New York with your mom and left you all by yourself. And cognitively, you're going to try to justify. This is not the time to justify. This is the time to let yourself fully express what is present, because simply because it is present, it is valid. That's it. That's it. Really great. And when you feel as if you've fully expressed everything that you've been holding on your heart, nod your head for me. But keep going until you're complete. That's it. That's it. Oh, you're doing so freaking great. Beautiful. And now I want you to imagine your mom wrapped in just love and light energy, but shrink her down so she can fit in your hand. Okay. And I know she's not present, but she's still very much energetically present with you. So shrink her down, wrap her in love and light, and then hand her over to God and say, I'm done carrying this now. There it is. There it is. And see him take her lovingly, tenderly. And let him reassure you that he's got her. That you can let her go. You don't have to be her mom anymore. And just tell her, now that she's safe with him, tell her you are going to go and reparent herself, yourself. You are going to go and reparent yourself. Her work with you is done. And you're not going to carry her burden anymore. And now, your dad. Shrink him down so you can hold him in your hand, wrap him with love and light. And hand him over to God. That doesn't mean you have to release him from this earth. He might still have plenty of time, but it does mean that you're done carrying the burden of parenting him. Say, I'm done parenting him. Here you are. And notice how God lovingly takes him. Yeah, yep, yep. Let that melt. Bring in that liquid light. Let that melt. And tell God and your Father, I'm not your mom. I'm not his mom. I'm done parenting him. You can still love both of them with your whole heart. And you can show up in whatever supportive ways that a daughter can, that is appropriate for a child to do. And you can show love in whatever way feels aligned in your place as a child. But you are done parenting both of these adults. And when they're both safe with God, nod your head for me. Good. And then you can let him take them to a safe place. And you are now going to take care of yourself. Once God has finished safely storing your parents, invite him back into the room. When he's here, nod your head. Good. Ask him, will you please catch me now? If I trust you, will you hold me, please? Can it be my turn? And how does he respond? Will he catch you? Yeah. Do you believe him? Okay. Your cognitive mind will need to see some evidence, and that's okay. Yeah, that's all right. But part of that does require you to trust and surrender and actually do the trustful with him. Are you willing to at least do that? Good. It's scary. But you can do this. It takes much more strength to be vulnerable than it does to be strong.
Learned that.
Yeah. There it is. And feeling that peace, feeling that stillness, that certainty radiating from the core where it is all the way out, especially to your head, but also the tips of your toes. Such a beautiful white light, so gorgeous. Yes, rock star indeed. Locking that stillness, that peace into place. Locking it into place. Knowing that trust is a choice, knowing that surrender is a choice, knowing that control is a choice, knowing that a life that is too controlled has less and less life to control. And that the lusciousness of life actually lies in surrender. Beautiful. Ooh, good work. Coming back to the body, back to the room. 1 is a nice deep cleansing breath in. 2 is a wonderful sense of well-being. 3, an even more alert number. 4 and 5 is eyes open, wide awake, and alert. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, eyes open, wide awake, and alert. Really great work.
Well,
How are you feeling? Yeah, yeah. You're gonna need a nap later after your client. You got this, babe. Keep us posted. Will you check in with us and let us know how you go?
Yeah, of course.
Thank you so much for being with us on this journey. Thank you so much for being so fucking courageous to open yourself up all the way for us to be able to witness you.
Thank you for giving me the privilege to be able to do so.
It was an honor. I cannot wait to see what comes next.
Thank you, guys. I'll be in touch. I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, I know. We want to know. We want to know what's going on with you. All right, love. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Abby, have a great
All the
day.
love to you.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Wow. Following Ariel was so powerful. Oh my gosh. And just as a side note, right? Yes, I'm a divine money manifesting coach. Yes, I help people make more money. Yes, I clear limiting beliefs. Yes, I do all of this stuff, but the stuff is not solely in money. All of these fantastic stories that you witness in these testimonials of people doing quantum leaps and having millions of dollars drop in, having these billion-dollar projects manifest and appear, all of that stuff has nothing to do with us working on money. It has to do with clearing the emotion, clearing the raising the self-esteem, working on the confidence. It does have to do with clearing the limiting beliefs, because limiting beliefs provide an actual blockage, right? They stop us, but it's not limiting beliefs necessarily like specifically related to money. It's the whole person. It's energy, it's childhood, it's your relationships, it's love, it's your willingness to show up for yourself, it's your willingness to be brave and confront these deep, dark, things that exist within us, within all of us, within our humanity. So just keep showing up for yourself. Just keep doing the work. You've got this. As long as you're willing to be brave, it's not that you're not going to be afraid. You're never going to be able to get rid of fear, ever. It's that courage is taking the step forward in the face of fear. So it's being afraid and then continuing to step forward anyway. And as long as you keep stepping forward, and as long as you keep taking baby steps so that you're not stuck and stationary, then you're going to get there. Okay. Just keep on keeping on. You've got this. And I'll see you next Friday as we begin to work with Amy, who we did the intake interview with last week. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful stuff. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for joining. And as you can witness, this is the last message for today. If you pay attention, if you witness, emotions are nothing to be afraid of. No matter how deep they are, no matter how intense they are, no matter how deeply entrenched they are, there's nothing to fear around feeling and releasing emotions. You just actually have to release them. Okay? No more suppression. Say it after me. I'm going to express and feel my emotions. Okay, good. Thank you so much for joining. I'll see you next week, next Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for Metamorphosis Live with Abby. Bye.